Hey YouTube, welcome to What Are You Watching? I'm Alex Withrow, and I usually have a pod partner, my best man Nick Dostal, but he is not on this commentary because I watched John Carpenter's Halloween once a week for all of 2025. I did this for no other reason than because I wanted to, and I thought it would be a fun challenge. So this commentary here is the 53rd time I watched it in 2025. I've listened to a ton of fan commentaries on YouTube, and I am humbly offering to join the crowd. There is a part two to the episode where I bring on Nick, and we talk a lot about the sequels, touch on some things I didn't get to in the commentary. I will link that in the description and at the end of this commentary, but I hit play on Halloween when you hear the beep. I hope you have a lot of fun watching it with me. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, here we go. The music's starting. Oh God, I'm excited. So again, my name is Alex Withrow. I'm recording this on December 31st, 2025, and I'm a little out of my mind. In mid-2024, I thought it would be a fun challenge to watch the same movie once a week for all of 2025. Halloween was the first movie that popped into my head to take on such a challenge, and I batted a few other movies around and just kept it simple, stuck with Halloween. I wanted to see how it would go, and it has been a blast. This recording right now, I'm watching it, doing a live commentary. This is the 53rd time I've watched it this year. I've watched it in every way. I have watched it in every way imaginable, under every circumstance imaginable, on every device imaginable, every format. It has been a blast. I never got sick of it. We've done a lot of commentaries for the pod, and I've never been more excited than to record this one. I think fast, I talk fast. If I'm curt, it's because time is a factor. We only have 90 minutes here. I have a lot to say. This is me reporting on watching Halloween once a week for all of 2025. Opening credit sequence. I mean, just one of the all-timers. You're getting hit with this music right away. This music that was done by John Carpenter and the very unique 5/4 time register. So it just makes it feel a little off, a little spooky, and it's so simple. I honestly think the score to this film is the most iconic aspect of the movie. God. 53 viewings. I was a fan of Halloween before. I watched it maybe once a year around Halloween, and I have an appreciation for the sequels. I appreciate them for what they are. That was another fun thing about doing this year challenge, because I was familiar with Halloween, but not necessarily obsessed with it. And then I also dedicated one sequel to each month. So Halloween was just Halloween. I always had to watch Halloween every week. But then in February, I did Halloween 2, so I watched that once a week as well. March, Halloween 3, and so on, all the way up to David Gordon Green's last one, Halloween Ends. But I'm going to try to not talk about those too much, because I'll do a little addendum after this commentary. Here we go, shot one. I did indeed sit down and count all the editing cuts, all the shots. The figure I came up with was 606. So I counted 606 editing cuts in this movie. And it's kind of hard to, get a definite number, because there's a few hidden cuts even in this scene. But this thing is so impressive. I mean, they shot this last, and this is not what the house looked like. The house looked like how it looks throughout the rest of the movie. It was decrepit, run down. So they literally had to throw all this stuff up, just this lipstick, this wallpaper, couches, rugs, all this stuff to make it look presentable just for this shot. And they spent all night doing this, and what came out is one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history, let alone horror. This scene just changed an entire genre of filmmaking. Can you imagine seeing this in 1978? I have a funny story about that, about something I heard, and here we go. All right. The scene gets criticized a lot. I think they were having fun on the couch. I think he was probably a little riled up. They're going upstairs. They're already taking off their clothes. And while I'm not saying this is a long amount of time, I'm acknowledging that it is a quick amount of time, but I don't think it's unrealistic. What is he, 17? We're just about at the 30-second mark. You got to imagine, they're rolling around. Things are getting done. This is Deborah Hill, producer Deborah Hill's hand as a stand-in. I just love it. I love that there's all these things like look at the right here, you're going to see a camera shadow. I don't mind these things. I've never minded camera shadows. What was I just watching the other day? Mulholland Drive, and I caught some camera shadows at the Winky scene, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, who cares? They're making this for almost no money, like $300,000 independently, no studio involvement, and there's everyone on set, like all the crew, they're right behind the camera, reshuffling stuff, making sure lights are in the right position, because again, this house was falling apart. And there we see him again. So there we go. There we go. It's been about 70 seconds. I'm not saying that I agree with his stamina, but I'm saying that it is plausible for a 17-year-old. That's not even the best thing to happen to him tonight. I mean, he left. Imagine if he stuck around. He'd be toast too. How's that guy doing now? Survivor's Guild. They should have brought him back in some sequel. I don't know. Anyway. You cannot overstate how effectively creepy this is. This intro is just even the sloppiness of it, the camera bumps, the movements. Here we're gonna get a cut because they have to put something over the camera, so that's fine. So that's what I mean about the editing cuts. It's just so I mean I saw this. Halloween is a movie you can watch kind of young because there's not too much blood in it. It maybe misremembered as having blood, but there's not too much blood. And so I think you can watch it kind of young. You can play it on TV. There's no F-bombs. I actually don't believe there's a single F-bomb in the movie. So you can see this young and it can scare the shit out of you at any age. And this shot gets criticized when it looks over the knife. I love that. It's kind of like a what am I doing thing. Like, oh my God, I can't am I doing this? Or watching it go in, this kind of disassociation. I don't know. I always really like that. The kicker of the scene is taking that damn mask off at the end. It is so freaky. It is so scary to see that he's just like this normal looking kid with normal parents. Michael? God. In addition to counting cuts, I also counted camera setups. Now, it's not possible to know how many takes they did. Like this is going to be a crane shot away from this terrifying looking kid with a knife. They're just staring at him, no words. I don't know how many times they did this. They could have done it 2 times, they could have done it 10, but you count this as one camera setup. So when I counted camera setups, there's only 245 in the whole movie. That's nothing. Just setups. That's it. That is crazy. I mean, again, cannot overstate that they had almost no money. It was kids making this. A lot of them had done a few movies. They had been with Carpenter on a few, but nothing like they never could have known what they were doing and what they were making. They knew what they were doing. They never could have known that they were going to make this masterpiece of horror cinema. Also, researching this movie, you find out just how simple they made things. So, yeah, that's a car driving in the street in the rain. And then this is, a camera mounted in front, in the car, just pointing outside. This is in a garage. This is 2 actors in a car in a garage with grips, shaking the car with a hose with some water. That's it. And it's so effective. They call it poor man's process. And it works so well. I've never once watched this movie and gone, oh man, I don't know. It really, you could tell they shot that in a garage. Just like the pumpkin in the opening credits. That's just in a garage. And they just pushed in on the pumpkin. Simplicity. Nancy Stevens here as Marion, the nurse, the smoking nurse. A really cool thing to keep in mind, this is the only scene she's in this movie. It's just this. She was in some sequels later, and had a very key exposition dump in part 2, which we don't need to go into. But this is it for this movie. She's not in it that much, and she makes such an impact. And one thing about her role in Halloween 2, that film was directed by her husband, Rick Rosenthal. They got married that same year, and they are still together today. Isn't that great? It's so funny watching a movie this many times in a row. You're like, you didn't need that. You didn't need like the matchbook insert. It's fine. Cause they just, they have that for when he finds the mechanic, which I think is hilarious. It's like, did he go around the bush and see that the mechanic was laying dead there? Or did he just like stop at the truck in the hospital gown? Donald Pleasance here. God, 244 acting credits total. It's just a flawless performance. I've seen it so many damn times. I love when he cuts her off right there because it is the law. And he kind of feels bad. You can see it. He's like, it's right here. It's one of my favorite line readings. Go on, move. It's just Grips walking around in the rain in like hospital gowns. That's it. It's the music that makes it so haunting. It's the music that never escapes you. And you're like, oh my God, you just have this response of this is the worst thing imaginable. I love Donald Pleasance. He played Loomis 5 times, and I have watched all the sequels many, many times. The sequels get ridiculous, of course, but he's so committed. Always, even with like the stupid burns on his face, it doesn't matter. He's so committed. And he is fantastic in this movie, and he was a good sport when they made it. A few different guys played Michael Myers in this movie, Nick Castle, most notably, but this might have even been Tommy Lee Wallace jumping up on the car here. They do a commentary. You know what I also want to say, if you have it in 4K and the 4K looks amazing, people are like, oh, he's holding a wrench here. You can clearly see it. That's a continuity error. That's how he broke the window. And I'm like, what if he had a wrench? What if Michael Myers got a wrench before he left the hospital? I don't know. I'm very forgiving of this movie. Another great line delivery. The best. The evil is gone from me. All right. I don't know if I'll be able to stop. It's just great. He just leaves her. That's it. She's gone. Nancy Stevens out of Halloween 1. I love all of her cameos in she's in H2O. I'm going to do a really bad job of not referencing the sequels, but H2O, they even bring her back for Halloween Kills. I like it. I like her a lot. Oh, here it is. So yeah, it's December 31st, 2025. Nick and I, my podcast partner Nick and I were just here. We went to all the locations, or a lot of the locations, and this is in Pasadena, California, not in Illinois, because it wouldn't look like this in October in Illinois. And it's just like where that white pole is down at the right. That's where we parked. Like, it all looks like this still. It's just so cool. Like the curb structure, how there's that little bump up with the curb and the grass. This house is easy to spot because of that double car garage. It's just, if I love going to movie locations, and if you're a fan of it, this is a great one because they look exactly the same. Not so much the houses in Hollywood later, but this stuff. Like, there's a library right next to that park. I think it's the library. Those little, what do you call those? Those things that she's going to sit on later. Those things, those little stools. That guy, here's a fun little bit of trivia. To some, that is Tippi Hedren's husband. To others, that is Melanie Griffith's dad. To even others, that is Dakota Johnson's grandfather. The actor's name is Peter Griffith, and he is not a cartoon. Jamie Lee Curtis. This was, indeed, her first movie. She had a few TV credits, but this was it. She was cast, in part, for being the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. And Janet Leigh, who was, of course, the iconic Marion Crane in Psycho. But I also want to say that I love her in other things like Act of Violence, Touch of Evil, The Manchurian Candidate, The Fog, Halloween H2O, great little cameo with her daughter there. She had a way bigger career than just Psycho. I love Janet Leigh, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. She has played, could keep going, who knows? As of this recording, she has played Laurie Strode 7 times over 44 years. That is impressive. She's won an Oscar. She's been in a gazillion movies that people know, True Lies. Come on, she's Jamie Lee Curtis, and it all started here. And I love her in this. That is what the Myers house looked like. This is what it looked like. So that's the same house as the opening shot, but they had to pretty it up and gussy it up. Like, this is what it looked like the whole time. The whole time. And I want everyone to pay attention very closely. This is a key scene in the movie because this is the first time Michael's going to spot Laurie Strode and little Tommy here. And this is important because if we join Mike in his day and join his POV a little bit, you may see some justifications as to why he's doing what he's doing, but it all kind of starts here. But I'm going to get to that. later down. It's a little teaser. It's also fun to track those stings, those music stings, when he uses them and when he doesn't, because there isn't one right here. And this seems kind of obvious, like as soon as he would walk into frame, it would just be there. But it's so smart to not do that. It's so smart to leave it out. Nick Castle is the primary actor who played the shape iconically. And one of the things I love most about this guy is I'm a child of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. He directed Dennis the Menace from 1993 and Major Payne with Damon Wayans. I don't know. I just love that. Haven't talked about the cinematography enough. This is all one shot. There's a lot of stealth wonders in the movie. Obviously that opening was made to look like one shot, but it was like still only three. Like that's not, it's very, very difficult to do. This is all one. This doctor, this is it for him in this movie. And then if you are familiar with the sequels, he has a stupid arc later down the line. He was doing very well last night. Sorry, damn it. Oh, how many people am I going to piss off? Oh, I love this teacher. And talking about fate. I have every scene kind of memorized and order. If you listen closely, fate is an immovable object. The teacher's kind of talking about Mike Myers, evil personified, that whole thing. So it fits. I love her voice. I think it sounds like a voice in Assault on Precinct 13 for me, like a secretary or a phone operator voice. I don't know who it is. I just always I like the voice. So, yeah, all right, I can't do it yet. I already want to jump to Mike's day. But yeah, he's like, who's this girl who showed up at my house? She's going to check in on me. I'm going to check in on her. So yeah, I'm going to follow her around. He's not getting much visibility on her because, she's in class. So he's like, I'll go to that little pipsqueak school. They got to be letting out soon. I'll definitely keep track of him.
Costain wrote that fate was somehow related only to religion, whereas Samuels felt that, fate was like a natural element, like earth, air, fire, and water.
That's right. Samuels definitely personified fate. In Samuels' writing, fate is immovable, like a mountain. It stands where man passes away. Fate never changes.
Of course, we went to Pasadena. Nick and I went to the locations. Didn't go to this one. Don't know why. Just completely slipped my mind. So there's that. Again, counting shots or counting even shot setups, like this is one. And then they're even going to go back to that setup when Myers runs into him, when Mike runs into Tommy. These kids suck, man. Ruin another man's pumpkin like that. Well, Olani is going to get the bejesus scared out of him later. Tommy, this kid's cute. This is Brian Andrews as Tommy. Cute kid. I have only ever seen him or recognized him in The Great Santini. He was one of the Mitchum sons. Good little actor. They kind of gave him the shaft of not bringing him back for Halloween Kills, but Anthony Michael Hall does kind of kick ass in that until he doesn't. I hope Tommy learned to stand up for himself. He's going to, after this night, he should have bragging rights all over school. Do you have any idea what I've been through? That's a great sting, music sting that always scares the shit out of people. And part of my viewing for Halloween, like in the past, before 2025, I love to see it in the theater because every time I go in the theater, they usually play it around Halloween. Alamo's really good about it. You can tell you're always in there with people who have not seen it before, and they are scared when you're supposed to be scared. They laugh when you're supposed to laugh. I love seeing these older movies in the theater and hearing and seeing in real time how they still work. It's fantastic. And this one just absolutely in every way still works. That was a fun little continuity error when he was walking. You could see his station wagon on the other side of the street, but now he's in it on the opposite side of the street. I don't mind any continuity errors in this movie except one, and we're going to get to it in a little bit. It has to do with the hardware store. That's just silly. It's a really silly thing. Man, this poor kid being tracked. My God. This next scene's great because you're like, so, okay, Mike, you got to imagine the circumstance here. Maybe Mike, like something happened with the station wagon. He pulls over. This guy helps him. Who knows? Or the tow truck was already pulled over. But Mike just basically killed this guy for his jumpsuit. That's the only reason. And I love that Loomis doesn't As far as I could tell, he doesn't think to go around and see if the mechanic is there. Also, I've wondered, is he talking to Sheriff Brackett here? He's talking to someone of authority in the town. And, I'm telling you, he is coming. It's your funeral. I've always wondered that, because it seems like when they meet out on the street, they are meeting for the first time. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. Like, did he go around the corner to see that he's dead, or is he like, all right, Mike stopped here to ditch his clothes. He didn't take this new car. He kept a station wagon. And all right. Barry Bernardi plays the corpse here. It's kind of funny because he was a PA in this movie, and now he produces most of Adam Sandler's movies. All those Adam Sandler movies on Netflix. That is the dead mechanic in Halloween. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, that's like for, first time view. That's for night. I guess that's 1978 stuff. They were trying to give people a little help to see if they could, track along with the story. Oh yeah, so he was here. Okay, I get it. Oh, here they come. I love these girls. Deborah Hill and John Carpenter were together when they wrote and produced Halloween. They developed it together. And in the writing, Deborah Hill was largely responsible for the Laurie Strode stuff, the girls, the banter back and forth. I think that's part of the reason why it feels so authentic, so totally authentic. Carpenter stuck with the Loomis stuff, and then they merged them together. But Deborah Hill's responsible for a lot. She cast Jamie Lee Curtis. She made the production run as smoothly as she could. You cannot overstate the importance of her contribution to this movie. It's almost in tandem with the great John Carpenter. Here we have PJ Souls as Linda, Smokin' Linda. She's so good in this. You understand her personality immediately. All of them. You understand their personalities so well. This is Nancy Loomis, later known as Nancy Keys, playing Annie. So the Loomis thing confuses matters even more. She has the same last name as the main character in the movie. Now, this is also a very important scene because this is some interaction with Mike. So just in developing Mike's day, if we're in Mike's logic, going down that rabbit hole, this is a key scene to remember. Key scene, because it's obvious to me that Mike does not like to be yelled at. I just love the banter, though, between these three, the passing of the cigarette. I also found it funny that Jamie Lee Curtis said she told Carpenter, like right before they started filming, that she, in real life, is not very much like Laurie. She's more like Annie. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Mike doesn't like that. Mike doesn't like it one bit. One day you're going to get us all into a lot of trouble. Yeah, she is. So much trouble, in fact, that she ain't going to make it. This is my 50th viewing. I noticed this continuity error. My 50th viewing. Look all the way to the right. All the way as they walk, you're going to see a guy walking in a white shirt. Clearly like walking with the camera. Look all the way to the right against the bush. I didn't even notice until I was watching on my 4K for the 30th time this year. And there it was. Just a quick little shirt of a guy walking. I love that. And he's such a smartass. Like, good. I have two options. Listen to you, screw around, or talk to you. Because that's so bad to talk to your friend. Oh, they're great. And their banter keeps going. Like, this stuff isn't even subtitled. They're just talking about, like, boys, smoking. Like, I love all that. Now, this was a favorite location of mine because this thing is just, this is right out of 1978. Not the shot, this. All of this looks exactly the same. It is so cool. We parked just a little down, like where that stop sign is, a little past that. And this is all exactly it. It is so cool. You can do these camera moves, this walk. I don't know. I love that stuff. I love it so much. Because also, keep in mind, they're making plans. This is the last time Annie and Linda are ever going to see each other. They will never see each other again. Bye. Oh, that's sad. Laurie won't even see Linda again. They'll talk on the phone briefly, but that's the last time she's going to see her. There it is. That bush still stands. That hedge bush looks exactly the same. They've maintained it, and the one after, that bigger green bush. I did a video of myself. Well, Nick took a video of me going behind the bush. It is still there. It's awesome. The people who live in that house must be very nice, because as you'll see, when Andy goes around and, hey, creep, you're just in their yard. Like, that's their front yard, and it still looks exactly like that. So when you do the step behind the bush, you're in their yard. Here's some John Carpenter cigarette smoke going by, camera left. Smoking during a take. I love that. So yes, I get really embarrassed and shy at that stuff. So I'm like, all right, we have to be quick. Nick's like, no, do another take. It's still like that house. I mean, they clearly have done that on purpose just to try to maintain it. Again, the houses in Hollywood have clearly done some work to not be distinguishable, to, not gather fans and stuff like that. But this, it looks the same, and I appreciate that. It's just really cool. Well, there's guys standing on the porch back there. I never knew that. I never saw that. Holy shit. 53 times in 1 year, and I just saw guys. Those had to be crew members standing on Linda's porch. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I love that leaf gets caught in her hair. Oh, here he is. This guy's great. Charles Cyphers is the great Sheriff Brackett, Annie's dad. I love him. Just for John Carpenter, he was in Assault on Precinct 13, Someone's Watching Me, Elvis, The Fog, Escape from New York, Halloween 2. They brought him back for Halloween Kills. I love this guy. And he's a good man. He wants to help. I've heard some chatter that he checks out Lori here, that he checks out her derriere. It's not true. Look, he's staring right at the back of her head. He's a good man. He is not a creep. That's that. Justice for Sheriff Brackett. I always wondered if they shot this right at the same time as when she left in the morning, was saying bye to her dad. That guy who's not a cartoon. Kind of looks like the same type of day. Who knows? Yep, this little courtyard, like that whole little intersection, looks exactly the same right in Pasadena. And this is something you don't really notice. I mean, they didn't have a lot of money on this, so they couldn't afford a lot of extras. I didn't really notice until, 25 viewings in the same year that there are already kids trick-or-treating, and I didn't take issue with it is what I mean. I've heard people have issue, but I don't know. The smaller kids definitely went out trick-or-treating before it became nighttime, at least in my neighborhood growing up, so I guess that's what that means. But again, I don't really think these details matter to John Carpenter's Halloween. Oh, this is so freaky. All right, okay. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to combat all the criticisms. So she's going to look out, and he's going to be standing right here. Also very creepy, of course. And then we cut back to her, and then when we go back outside, now he's going to be gone. I don't think it's out of the realm. People are like, where'd he go? Oh, she must just be in her imagination. That's an error. I just have always assumed that he walked off like he did behind the bush. And I mean, with her looking at him, he just walked right off. And they probably didn't want to show that again because they just showed it at the bush. Or maybe it is in her head. I don't know, whatever. I never took issue with it. For the kids out there, this is what you used to do back in the day, before phones, before texting. You'd make a plan, and then if something, maybe a little change in the plan. Think about all the stuff you text today, like, oh no, can we meet it 10 minutes later? Can we meet 10 minutes earlier? Can we take your car? My car broke down, this and that. You'd have to actually call the person back. So you may have just stopped talking to them in front of her house 3 minutes ago, and now you got to call them back. That's the way it was. Damn, you messed up the number on those rotary phones. Had to start all over. Had to slam it down, start all over. I love Annie. She's really good. She's really effective. And Nancy Loomis was part of the gang, the Carpenter gang. She was in Assault on Precinct 13 and The Fog. And it feels fair to mention a sequel here. She has a cool, ex-wife role in Halloween 3, the one movie in the franchise that doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers per se. And one of the cool things about her in that movie is that she was married to the director, Tommy Lee Wallace, who also had a big hand in this movie as the production designer and the co-editor in The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round. Now this I actually did do. I made Nick take a picture of him. He's got to send those to me. Went right out to the stool. Is that what it is? Stool? I don't know. What the hell? And sat on this. They're still there. You can still go and sit and wait for your friend to pick you up with a joint. Yep. All those leaves, they had 3 of those big black trash bags of leaves, and they would have to scoop them up before every shot, reassemble and spread them out again because there were no brown leaves in Pasadena when they filmed this. That's a hoot. This has to be a stolen shot, this next one, because that's Genesee. Yeah, you see that road, Genesee Avenue? That's in Hollywood. That's much closer to the houses that they're going to. That ain't in Pasadena, so that must be a stolen shot. Comes Andy with the car. We just have time. I just mentioned Tommy Lee Wallace there. The song playing on the radio here is by a band called the Coupe de Villes, the members of which were Nick Castle, Tommy Lee Wallace, and John Carpenter. I'm dead serious. It's great. You gotta love it. The sheriff's daughter is the bad influence. Just perfect. This guy, Arthur Mallet, is the graveyard keeper. Old Charlie Bowles. I mean, this guy was in a ton. He was Mary Poppins, In the Heat of the Night, Young Frankenstein. Played Toodles and Hook. Anyone seen Hook? It's Toodles. And this all, for the most part, is going to be one shot. Once they get to the gravestone, it's going to be one shot. I love this story. It just gets cut off. What do we think old Charlie Bowles did there? Did he go back in and hack them all up? He says it's about 15 years ago, which was the Michael Myers. You know, when Michael Myers killed his sister. And if Russellville's like the next town over, that was a hell of a, what was that, 63? That was a hell of a 63. You got old Charlie Bowles hacking up his family, presumably. Michael Myers icing his sister out. The hell is going on in Illinois at this time? Row 18, plot 20. I shouldn't know that, but I do. I just love this guy. Why do they do it? Pleasant's so over it. So yeah, that was all one shot. Now we'll do some, insert some quick back and forths. Here, Mike's plan is becoming a little clearer. Don't know the order in which he did stuff, but it's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to have a little decoration party here with his gravestone. Why not? What else am I going to do? Eat? I got dog for that. Sick bastard. Another bit of fun trivia. This song is the very well-known Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. This was the first time this song was used in a movie, and it has been used in countless movies and TV shows since. It's used a lot as a callback to Halloween in these sequels. What's the pumpkin for? But yes, they're what a well-known song. Look at Mike just stalking them out. My favorite part about them getting high is when they're on the phone later, because they both play high so well. Like, Annie's got the very glossy-eyed kind of standing there. Lori's got the giggles, the very effective giggles, or authentic. I mean, they really seem stoned. But yeah, Mike's not even playing now, because now Mike's like, oh my God, that's the woman that yelled at me. Okay, oh my God, it looks exactly like that still. This is Pasadena, that little median in the middle. Nick and I got into a mini argument because he said there's no way these trains were here in Halloween because the train tracks are a very prominent part of this intersection. I'm like, yes, they are. You can see them when they're at the hardware store. Hardware store is like a coffee shop now or something. Now this is great. Okay, he can't smell the weed, or maybe he does, but he doesn't care. This is my one continuity error that I have an issue with in the movie. When you watch the movie enough times, this is just silly. He's saying that, someone broke into the hardware store, Halloween mask, a couple knives, a rope. So that's Mike. Mike was in there stealing that stuff. We know that he has been in the mask all day because we saw him when Lori was at school in the mask. Meaning, if Mike robbed this store, then that alarm has been going off all day? Come on, the alarm just didn't even need to be going off. You could just be like, that's just it. There's no way the alarm would be going off all day. That's all I'm going to say. I recreated this shot. It's so fun. Yeah, all that looks exactly the same. And look at that, Nick. Train tracks. He'll never listen to this. So that kind of seems like they're meeting for the first time. I don't know. I always wondered if that's who he was talking to on the phone. Maybe he's talking to someone at dispatch or something. And it's like, it's a crank. Didn't even pass it off to Brackett. That's what it was. Oh, this is a nice little sleight of hand here. Of course, he misses it. The car that he was just in a few hours ago just goes right past him, still has the insignia. These are some pickups. They shot these after the fact. I think it helps, I think to capture more of the passage into night because it was pretty bright for that hardware store. Oh, another cool thing about that hardware store, if you go visit that now, again, it's like a coffee shop. They moved the Michael Myers house, so it's like right next to it. It looks like a dentist office or something. It's just like a normal office, and it's blue and looks really nice. But I swear they moved, like, I don't know how they moved it or if they, literally recreated it board by board, but it looks exactly the same. And if you go to that location, the hardware store in Halloween, you will be right next to the Michael Myers house. I'm not saying like 4 blocks away. I'm saying like right there. It's right there. So yeah, they had to pick this stuff up. I love this hearing about Ben Tramer. They do a cool camera effect here, in-camera effect, where they turn the aperture down in camera to make it look a little darker. They'll pan here. Again, he's just right on it, man. They should have given, I think in school they would have learned a little bit about tracking, where you followed. So yeah, they'll just do a cool in-camera trick. And then once we go to night, we stay at night. Just about halfway through the movie, but not quite. Kind of fade down a little bit. Yep, before we harsh cut, boom, cut to night. The cinematographer of this film was the great Dean Cundey, who did The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Halloween 1 and 2, Psycho 2, all 3 Back to the Futures, Big Trouble in Little China, nominated for an Oscar for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He shot Jurassic Park, Apollo 13. Amazing DP. Amazing. These are fun to visit. And I think the most interesting thing, so behind these cars, like a half a block behind them, is bustling, thriving Sunset Boulevard, right in the heart of West Hollywood. And if you watch the movie closely, we never really see that side of the street because, I have to assume in 78 it was still bustling. You can go watch movies that were shot around the time that take place, on the Strip or in West Hollywood. And it's right there. It's kind of cool that it's on North Orange Grove Avenue, kind of by coincidence, the Freddy Krueger house is just a few blocks away. It's right below Sunset on Genesee, that road I referenced earlier. But yeah, these locations, they're like 5 blocks from the famed Chateau Marmont, where the actor Johnny Marco once lived. That house looks very different now. I bet they had a lot of fans, a lot of visitors. That tree still exists, so you can recreate this shot as Nick and I did. They were just 2 dudes chilling on the porch having a beer. I'm like, God, this is embarrassing. But that, like, where the adults are walking right now, that's a garage that's all in addition. But the pillars on the front are still the same. But that one looks different. The house that Lori is in looks more or less the same. People add, like, shrubbery, fences. I get it. They don't want you going and visiting this shit. We tried to go to, like, the John Cassavetes house from, A Woman Under the Influence, and they have this massive, like, brick gate up now. In the movie, she just, kind of wanders out into the front yard and wanders onto Sunset, I think. You can't, no front yard anymore. Probably annoyed as hell with visitors. Yeah, this is what the house looked like. This is what it looked like. Usually in movies, you do set dressing to make stuff look like this, but it already looked like this. People could have fallen through boards. There's literally boards that are just sprung up. Oh, this is bad. Mike firmly believes that dogs got no reason to live. He got hungry. He kills poor Lester, just doesn't even think twice coming up. Oh my God. Pleasance in these monologues, like he didn't have to be this committed, and it's about 3 times he has to do that. I watched him for 15 years, different variations of that. And it's fantastic. Like, he's just so believable. You don't see holes in it, even if you watch it 53 times in 52 weeks. I only watch it once a week. I guess it's because the first week of the year and the last week of the year, like, bleeds into, the different years. So that's why it kind of got, I don't know, whatever, turned around. Here's a question I have for the listeners and viewers who cannot respond to me. Do you know what this is that hits the window? It's one of those things that, like, I had seen Halloween a bunch of times before 2025, but you just don't really think about it. It scares the shit out of you because it's really loud. So it is, they bring this screech into it. The glass breaking is loud. So do people know what that is? Because they never explicitly say, like, oh, that was crazy when that gutter fell. That's what it is. It's a gutter. I don't know. I had to find that out through research after, again, like my 30th viewing. I went, what the hell is that thing? Like, what is that supposed to be, falling? I either enlightened some people because they didn't know that was a gutter, or some people are like, this dude's an idiot. It's obviously a gutter. Ah, look at just the composition a little below. Ah, the light hitting the left side of his face, but not too much. It's a beautifully shot movie. And again, they didn't have any money. Widescreen to give it some validity, to make it. I think Carpenter said he wanted to give it, some visual credibility, make it look more expensive than it was. And I think half the budget was for the photography, and that worked. That paid off. That is one of the reasons why this movie just keeps on living. Because it still looks good. It doesn't have any wild, dumb, crazy shit in it, no dated shit in it. God, he's just in it. I love that, brackets skepticism, and you're telling me they're lined up for a slaughter, not so much this one, but, more fancy talk. He's great. He's with him right now, like, all right, man, all right. Every kid in Haddonfield thinks this house is haunted, now I gotta deal with this guy. This child doctor who seems nuts, who seems just plain scared. To put a little pin in Tommy Lee Wallace, because I was talking about him. That guy's a horror film icon. His IMDb, it's just a great read because he did so many different things for so many different movies. He wrote and directed Halloween 3, like I mentioned, and Fright Night Part 2. And he directed the It miniseries from 1990, the one when I was a kid. And yeah, he appears as Michael Myers in this film, and he was also the production designer and co-editor with Charles Bornstein, and he worked with Carpenter a lot. He's a key figure to the Halloween franchise. Yeah, this is the phone call where they play Stone so well. I love and he's kind of confident. Guess who I called? I called Ben Tramer for you. Ah, poor Ben. Not seen in this movie, but if you have seen Halloween 2, poor guy. And I just love the way Jamie Lee's laughing, just the giggles. It's great. It's really authentic. So in this sequence here, while Annie spills butter and she's got to clean it up and get stuck in the window, I thought it'd be fun to talk about the various ways I watched the film this year. I watched it in 4K. I watched it in Blu-ray. I watched the original color timing Blu-ray. I watched it on DVD. Watched an extended edition with deleted scenes added in. Watched a VHS version. Watched a 35mm print version, which I detected very early was probably not a 35mm print. It was just a lot of post-production editing effects that someone did. But, whatever. I watched it with 3 different official commentaries and a ton of fan commentaries on YouTube, like this one is trying to be. I watched it at home, in hotels, in my car, in airport bars, in the movie theater once. Watched it in black and white, on mute, with Carpenter's isolated score playing. I watched it at 1.25 speed. This was fun. I watched it while playing other famous horror films at the same time. Friday the 13th was hysterical because you realize how much of a damn near identical ripoff that movie is from the original Halloween. Some of the shots and camera movements are the exact same, pretty much at the exact same point in both movies. It was really fun. I also did that with the original A Nightmare on Elm Street and Black Christmas. It was most effective and most fun to do it with the original Friday the 13th. I recut Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O so that we only focused on Michael and Laurie. So I called it the Michael and Laurie cut, and I only had their scenes throughout that cut. It was just kind of cool, just something to do for fun. I counted editing cuts, as I mentioned, counted camera setups. I watched it at dawn. I watched it in the dead of night. I watched it sober, drunk, high. Watched it in a good mood. Watched it in a sad mood. Watched it in a fun mood. The only time I burnt out, and this was my fault, this was bad planning, was when we covered it on this podcast as part of the WAYW New Hollywood Film Project. We recorded that episode in July 2025, and I prepped for it extensively. I researched the movie a bunch. I watched it like 2 or 3 times leading up to that recording with the commentaries on, watched all the sequels. I crammed like a test, and I often do that for the pod. But then when we do that for another movie, I can just let the movie go for a little bit. And, it'll find its way back to me eventually, no matter what it is. But this one, I had to keep going. So those few weeks toward the end of July and the beginning of August were rough because I felt like I had done the work. And I'm like, well, you should have saved that episode for right now. But now our listeners are getting 2 Halloween themed movies in, I guess, 6 months, if the math adds up. So I'm sure I watch it in more ways than that. But yeah, I tried to have fun with it. My buddy Mark W. gave me some great tips on how to watch it. It was his idea to watch, I should say, his idea to watch it with Friday the 13th playing. It was a great idea. I went, oh shit, I never even thought about that. This is funny. This is actually one of the longest shots in the movie. Just the shot of this TV and how, serendipitous that this Carpenter would go on to make this movie. And it is a Carpenter classic, The Thing from 1982. I actually watched the original The Thing from Another Planet because of this movie. It was pretty good. Very different than Carpenter's film. Very different. This is a funny scene because I remember it, if for no other reason than it is the exact midpoint of the movie. This is the exact midpoint of John Carpenter's Halloween. When the camera angle cuts and she's talking to him, like there wasn't anyone there. Like, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. So there you go. We're just full of useless information today. I also love that she was the one all freaked out, right? Earlier, like calling her friend, oh, look, there's a guy in the bushes. Look, I thought it was a prank caller, this and that. And now that she's a little baked, and now that she has responsibility, she's putting on this good show of like, there's no boogeyman, there's no one out there. And I'm like, is she talking to herself? I think she's giving herself advice, This right here is the exact midpoint of the movie. You're all welcome. Obviously, I was no stranger to John Carpenter. Love John Carpenter. I've always been a fan of his films. 18 films as a director. He made more for TV. Dark Star was his first a student film at USC with friends that I've mentioned, like Nick Castle, Tommy Lee Wallace. I love that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. I think it's a lot of fun. Assault on Precinct 13. God, that movie is gnarly. That movie is so hardcore. I've heard him say that for Halloween, for the horror film, they wanted to scale back the violence because it was so controversial in Assault on Precinct 13. I mean, of course, it's like the kid getting killed, which is really early, but I don't know. It's still like that guy with the shotgun at the end. Like, man, he can whip that shotgun around. And I should know that actor's name. Halloween was right after Assault. Then he did The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, on and on and on. Prince of Darkness, They Live. I mean, there's so many. I think Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, Escape from New York, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and They Live. Those keep him in cinema icon status as a director forever. Of course, he made other movies, other good movies, but that's enough. Halloween and The Thing, like that's enough to keep you as a legend for the rest of my life. And I think his score for Halloween maintains his icon status as an artist for the rest of my life. I'm talking like even above film direction, like this. The Halloween score, the Halloween theme, do you see that guy in the background in the left ducking behind the couch? I mean, it's just wild. It's so crazy how famous it became and how it's used in every sequel. It's just used so much. And I think that's the most famous aspect of this movie. I think it's batshit that it wasn't, the movie was just too small and it wasn't backed by a studio. I was going to say batshit that it wasn't nominated for an Oscar for score, but they would not have known what they had at the time. Of course, this is Kyle Richards as Lindsay. They, unlike poor Brian Andrews as Tommy, they did bring her back for Halloween Kills and Ends. And in between, she was in some stuff. She really seems here like she'd be fit for reality TV. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just just like a weird vibe. Very funny to think of that the little girl in Halloween would go on to become a reality TV star. Erwin Yablans and Mustafa Akkad, these are names you hear a lot in this franchise. Ublanis was a film producer and Akkad was a financier. They liked Assault on Precinct 13 so much that they offered John Carpenter, said, hey, we want you to make our next movie, which is about babysitters getting, hacked up. So Carpenter thought about it. No one had used the title Halloween for a movie. Isn't that weird? Like, no one had set a scary movie at Halloween and called it Halloween. Weird. So he and Deborah Hill did that. And they got, about, like I said, $300,000. $1.98 of that was dedicated to a Captain Kirk mask that they made some modifications on. And I mean, the mask in 1 and 2 are the same. And then the masks ever since they are the source of so much ridicule. And there's always something to them, like whether it's pink and blonde hair at one point, whether it's CGI, like people love to have issues with the mask. And it's just so funny how, again, this movie is, I'm not saying it's simple. I'm saying there was a level of simplicity in the making of it, like the poor man's process, the stuff shooting in a garage, the mask not costing that much money, because you're putting all your focus into other things. Like the structure of the movie is perfect. The performances this cast had not been in that many movies. Of course, Donald Pleasance had. Yep, now bad girl Annie's just pawning off her work to Lori. How does that work? Like, if Annie's getting paid to babysit, I feel like Lori should get half the commission now. She did all the work. She puts her to bed. I love the little manipulation. Like, well, what if you can watch TV with Tommy Doyle? Then will you go, yeah, sure, okay. And that's it. Everyone but Lori's got boys on the mind. It's also so funny how they didn't do that on purpose. Deborah Hill and John Carpenter were not making a movie about how the, quote, virginal girl lives, and if you're sex crazed and doing that, then you're not paying attention and you die. That was not intentional at all, and that became such a staple of horror movies, and it's just not what this is. It's so funny how things just turn into something they weren't. Haven't had a nice little music sting in a while. Yeah, that house looks a little different. There's some gates up, different shrubbery, but those pillars in the front, that's how you can tell. They filmed Halloween for 20 days over 4 weeks in May 1978, and that sucker was in the theaters a few months later for Halloween. I do have a funny story about someone seeing this movie for the first time. I guess it was 2 couples, and they went to a movie theater, and it was the noon showing of Halloween. No one really knew much about it. So they decided to get really high in the parking lot in the back of the theater. And again, this is like opening day, so no one really knows about the movie. So they stumble into the theater and the credits are going. So, those long opening credits, everything's black. They can't see anything. They don't know where the hell to sit. So they're stumbling around. They're all stoned. They're giggling. Then that opening scene happens. They're scared shitless. And as soon as the first daytime scene happens, they look over and they realize that they are sitting next to the only other 2 people in the theater. They're sitting directly next to them and being loud and probably reeking. So they start laughing hysterically and they get up and move and then sit somewhere else. And I just always got a huge kick out of that story. And then just a few years later, 2 of the people in that story helped create your loyal podcast host here. The 70s. Again, the sequence of events is all going to pay off when I dive deep into Mike's day, Mike's POV. I love that detail of the car is locked, and presumably because he's in it, and then she's going to come back and it's going to be unlocked, but she doesn't even notice because, she's distracted. She's got to go pick up Paul, singing her own little tune. Windows are going to be all fogged out because he's in there. He's worked up. He's worked up. This doesn't really matter to anything, but it was like my 35th viewing that I noticed this clock on the wall says 31st. I'm like, oh, right there. Yep, 31st. I mean, that's good. Continuity working there. How long have we gone in the movie without, there was that death in the beginning. We saw the that the mechanic had been killed, but we didn't see that death, and then here we go. I mean, it's gonna rev up, but again, this is not a movie with a high body count, not a movie like he's about to slash her in the throat right here, and there's no gore. Oh my god, that's so scary. That's one of the ways you know someone hasn't seen it for the first time because they scream in a movie theater. Oh, it's great. Yeah, she yelled at him earlier. That's why he hasn't even been paying attention to Lori. He's only been on Annie. He's been stalking Annie out. And how's he killing her? By grabbing her by her throat so she can shut her big mouth and not yell about his driving. That's it. This might be the only murder he wants, the only body he wants to catch tonight. It might just be this one. I mean, again, the tow truck, we don't know what happened with the tow truck guy. Maybe he deserved it. We don't know about that guy's life. We don't know what he's been through, his journey. So this could be it. And now Mike's not going to do anything. Mike just has to sit in this house and people are going to show up. This is hilarious because Tommy's now the only one. Like anytime he looks over, he looks out the window. He's become Lori's, like he's adopted Lori's fear because everything that she was afraid of earlier, now he's seeing the same thing. No one believes him. It's just so funny to me that she's like, "Oh, be quiet, Tommy," and it's like, "What you? You were scared about this dude earlier in the day." It's scary as shit too, just watching him come over and kick this door in, carrying Annie. Oh, man. But yeah, this could be it. Maybe he was just driving around looking for purpose. He's like, oh, this one reminds me of my sister. I guess I'll kill her and, like, get to decorating. But he's not going to have much time because he's going to get interrupted. He's just trying to have a nice, relaxing evening. By himself. Keeps getting interrupted. Jamie's so good with the kids. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't even act with adults much in this movie. Not much at all. It's mostly either with people her own age or these kids. And she's so authentic. She's so genuine. This is one, if not my favorite performance from her, which is wild because she was a kid and it was her first role. Even the way she does this little like, to herself, like, yep, that's me. I can put up with it, like, these damn kids. I just love that. Like, okay, can't win. All right. Also, I love how Lindsay believes him. He just scared the shit out of her. It's like, I believe you. Do you? This is one of the most genuine laugh lines in the movies. It's not just that he scares them off. I mean, it is that. This little shithead Lonnie here. It's the the pure satisfaction he has on his face at scaring the hell out of these three little kids. It is so funny. And what if Mike was still there? What if Mike had to come back to his house and was just still chilling there and boom, he could have grabbed. See, these kids have no idea how lucky they are. Oh, that's so good. It's such a good little bit to do the show that he has humor. Look at that. He's so content. He's just so pleased with himself. If only he would turn around and see the station wagon. He turned around there, didn't he? No station wagon. I love, he goes, nothing's going on, just kids. I love that parking, getting high. Is parking part of the mischievous things that kids do? Or is it parking ... But I like it. He's got a little bit of a wild daughter, so takes it easy on the kids in town. I mean, she's not that wild. She's all right. She's a little rebellious, Annie. Well, she's dead now, actually, so that's kind of sad to think about. He's never going to see her again. Yep. And again, all this stuff like these, it's almost like the same angle as in the house. We're a little below. We're on the right side of him. He's just delivering this stuff. So much conviction. I love dismissing it like more fancy talk. Oh, Charles Cyphers is great. If you're a fan of John Carpenter, you've seen him so much, and he's a great character actor. Love the voice. He was taking that work seriously in Halloween Kills as well. Like he was going for it. I love that. Damn you for letting him go. Like, yeah, he knows that. See, shit rolls downhill. That's the way it happens. He's catching shit now. But he was mad at the doctors at Smith's Grove. Oh, yeah, here they come. Yep. Old Linda. Linda's here with Bob. PJ Souls was the main villain in Carrie a few years earlier. She was in Breaking Away, Private Benjamin, Stripes, Sweet Dreams. Oh, I love Sweet Dreams. Jawbreaker, The Devil's Rejects. She actually has a cameo as a teacher in the 2018 Halloween, the first David Gordon Green movie. And at this time, in 1978, she was married to Dennis Quaid, and he almost played this role. He almost played Bob. That would have been funny, because this guy playing Bob has not been in anything else, and it'd be funny to watch the movie decades later and see that that's a young Dennis Quaid in the part, but probably didn't know that he was going to, turn out to be Dennis Quaid. Yeah, and this is very important because, the lights are off. Mike's just doing his own thing. He can't be setting up the bed yet because they would see it. So he hasn't set up Annie and the gravestone yet, but yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, if you think about his perspective, he just have people falling into his lap all day. Someone showed up at his house. Who the hell is this? Someone is yelling at him in the street. Who is she? She's got to go. Now I'm in this house. It's not even my house. The girl I just killed, it's not even her house. I don't even know whose house I'm in. Now these two other people show up. Oh, Mike, I'll go through the day shortly. I promise. Yep, and just imagine what he's thinking. Like, who the hell are these people? We know Mike doesn't like fornication. He is not a fan. It upsets something within him. So, terrifying. Another little detail when Annie came over that I've always wondered about. Laurie was scooping out, the inside of the jack-o'-lantern. Shouldn't the kids be doing that? That's like part of the fun. What did the kids do? They were sitting there watching TV. Or rather, Tommy was watching TV when they came over. And I'm like, what? You should be doing that with the kids or making them do it. I don't know. These are the things you think about. Yeah, and they're about to talk. Lori and Linda are about to talk, but it was out in front of her house. That was the last time she ever saw her. What a tragic day. Linda's killing, PJ Souls' killing in the movie is the most savage killing in the movie, which I'll get to. That when I have a theory of why it's being done the way it is, that is brutal. Annie's killing was pretty brutal too. She has virtually no idea who did that. She would have no idea who's grabbing on the back of her neck. None. Lori gave her hints like, oh, I think I saw someone behind the bushes, but she wasn't thinking about that. That was hours ago. She's about to go pick up her boyfriend. She's got way more stuff on her mind. So that's scary when you don't know, who's attacking you. You're just like in the car, ready to go. And then you get grabbed. So yeah, they talk. There you go. Oh, if in the car, she was like, don't rip my blouse, it's expensive, you idiot. And that becomes this like really stupid hook of the added scenes that they did later when they were making Halloween 2. They did some like pickup scenes to help fill up a 2-hour block on television. And one is about like Lori lending her the blouse. It's just kind of silly. If you also look there when PJ Souls was walking, she kind of tripped and she's tripping over a dolly track. See, I actually think this lovey-dovey scene is funnier than the first one that I did the timing on, because watch, it's like the phone's about to ring, and if you have subtitles on or you listen carefully, Linda goes, oh, not again, like, because he has to stop, and I'm like, well, what not again? Like, is it the phone? Did the phone just ring and now it's ringing again? Or is he unable to perform? Or like, what? I just love that line. Oh, not again. And then, yeah, they're going to take it off the hook and they're going to, this is all one shot. So this is a quick romp as well. But she seemed satisfied. It was fantastic. Totally. Look at Mike, like he didn't even have to go anywhere. They're just falling into place here. He's like, watch this. I'm going to walk across the room while they go at it. They're not even going to notice me. He's going downstairs right now. He's like, I'm not even gonna, nah, I got a much better way to go about this. Watch this. He's scheming. What has he been doing for 15 years? He's been watched at by Loomis and he's been scheming. But he couldn't have known. I mean, he's a very good improviser, Mike. Couldn't have known the way the night was going to go. At all. These two are great together. Again, I know I mentioned it early, but Annie, Linda, like you have such a good grasp of their personalities right away. And that has to, the fact that Deborah Hill helped write this has to play into that. There really is an authenticity. That's like the 10th time I've said that word, this commentary. Damn it. But there is in the way that they talk, and that banter going back and forth. It doesn't feel cheap. It just feels very lived in. It feels like they're friends, and they have their very specific personalities. Similar to Annie, poor Bob here has no idea who kills him. I also love right before he gets attacked, he calls his girlfriend an asshole. He's like, Linda, you asshole. That's just so funny to me. Like, who calls their girlfriend an asshole? But yeah, no idea what's going on. He's caught no whiff of like, there's some crazed stalker going around. And I mean, it's a pretty, it's a quick one. He gets it right to the chest, knife still in the wall. So he's raised up, elevated off the floor. Oof. But yeah, terrifying, boom, back, checking door. And you're like, it feels so obvious. Like, of course he's going to pop out, but then it's just the right amount of times. Like, no, he wasn't outside. No, he's not in there. And just when you're like, nah, maybe he's still upstairs, boom. And another kill that just scares the shit out of everyone when you watch it, especially the first time or many, many times after that. Of course, the tilting his head like a dog is just so iconic. Like the studying of his work. God, what more can I even say? Oh, God, the way the light caught the blade so it reflected into the camera. Couple of kids, $300,000, not production money. Just a couple $100,000 making a movie, doing their best. Whoa, did it work out? Lighting is so effective. It is so good. The blues coming in, the way that like the flour and the wood, what the hell is that called? Cutting board to the left. All right, this is savage. I used to make fun of this. Like, oh, when did Mike have time to put on a sheet? When did Mike have time to do this and poke holes in it? I don't know when he did that. He just did it. Okay, whatever. But he has Bob's glasses on. Annie does not know who killed her. That was a surprise. Bob does not know who killed him. That's a surprise. No idea. Linda thinks this person is her boyfriend. She has no reason to believe that it is anyone else. She's calling him Bob the whole time. She gets so frustrated with him that she's like, screw this. I'm going to call Lori. This is going nowhere. As she's being strangled, one has to presume that she thinks it is Bob. That is savage. She thinks, and for her dying breath, that her boyfriend is killing her. Why? I don't know. She should have maybe gone and gotten the beer. Maybe he didn't like being made fun of for his sexual inadequacies. Whatever was going through her head, it is that my boyfriend is strangling me to death right now. And that just sucks. That's the harshest death in the whole movie. I mean, the sister in the beginning, that's pretty tough because like your little brother's just like hacking you up. So that's a tough one. But in the core narrative of the film here, Linda's death is the harshest. No question. So that is why I believe Mike puts on the sheet. It is not to be funny. It is not any sort of sleight of hand. I think he's doing it thinking the most evil shit I can do right now is pretend to be her boyfriend and ice her out that way. And when he picks up the phone, this is my one of two favorite shots in the movie. I love the blue hitting his mask and he just slowly holds the phone up. I love that. Oof. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because again, she didn't see that mask. She didn't see anyone else around. That was Bob who did that. So she thinks, oh, this shot is great. Look at this. Amazing in 4K. Stunning. Okay, I think it's about time. There go the lights off again. I think it's about time to go through Mike's day here. Just from my perspective, but I'm just saying if we watch Halloween in Mike's point of view, which my loyal co-host attempted to do and attempted to explain in our previous Halloween episode, but it didn't make any damn sense. So I'm going to give it a shot now. What I think could be the most charitable read of Mike logic. So Mike busts out, okay? He nabs a car, drives to his hometown, robs a hardware store, digs up his sister's gravestone, goes to his childhood home. He also killed a driver on the way, the tow truck guy, but nobody's perfect. Maybe the driver insulted him a little bit. Now Mike, he goes home. He's chilling at home. He's thinking. He ate a dog. Nobody's perfect. But he's minding his own business. And then out of nowhere, some schoolgirl and some little boy show up disturbing his peace. So he follows them. Why not? Why not? He hasn't seen normal people in 15 years. He goes for a drive all afternoon, checks in on him at school, and suddenly he's yelled at for a girl for driving too fast. And who is that girl with? The other girl who showed up at his house. That's a great gag that he never saw the car. That's just, that's hysterical. I mean, it's it's right there, just a few blocks down. I found the car. After Mike is yelled at by Annie, now it's on. So Mike follows them. And who does he stalk? He does not stalk Lori, the first girl he saw. He stalks the girl who yelled at him, who yelled about his driving. And as I said, how does he kill her? By grabbing her by her throat so she can't open her big mouth. Then he slashes her throat to make sure she stays silent. Now, he was just chilling again. Who knows what he's getting ready for? And out of nowhere, 2 more people show up. And who is the female? She was the other girl who was with the girl who screamed at him, and she's got a shithead boyfriend around. Who the fuck are they? They gotta go. We know Mike isn't a fan of sex, so they have to go. That's where he got his most devious. He kills Bob first, but then he makes Linda believe that her boyfriend is killing her. That is savage. And now, presumably, at this point in the movie, Mike is just doing a little interior decorating, right? He's got Annie sprawled out on the bed. He's got his sister's gravestone. That must have been heavy. Picked up, put at the top of the bed. He's lit some candles, I believe. He's stashed Linda's body, stashed Bob's body. And he's just, I don't know, having a little seance maybe? Who knows? But he's relaxing. It's probably a lot of hard work, and he's just doing nothing and relaxing and enjoying his work. And out of nowhere, who is going to walk into the house he is in? He doesn't go anywhere. The girl who showed up at his childhood home out of nowhere. What the hell is going on? He feels threatened. He's scared. He's alone. So this girl has to go. And now there's a chase. And as we know, that chase is going to end with his child psychiatrist of 15 years shooting him down like a dog. Bad day for Mike. Loomis, so that I'm being cute there, but it is kind of funny to go through. Like I have to imagine that Carpenter and Hill thought about that a little bit. Well, yeah, he's going, but okay, so he decides to follow Lori, but then he gets yelled at, so then he follows Annie. I haven't heard them talk about that, but that's the kind of the best justification I can put on his motivations. And he's, of course, evil. I mean, it's great. Loomis discovered that car with like 20 minutes left in the movie. I mean, it's like 18 minutes left, and we're going to be, okay, so 20 minutes left in the movie, and it's like end of credits, that we will be done. And we're just cooking here. And after those 3 murders, I almost said 2, now, we had that buildup, and now we're just resting in this patience of like walking around houses. When you break the movie down into like the mechanics of a movie, this is just an actress like walking around a house at night. The music makes it very effective, but this isn't, don't need any massive special effects or anything. You don't need that. It's just really convincing storytelling, terrifying, convincing storytelling. I love she tries every name. Bob ends with Bob. And watching this again, you watch it so many times, and I've seen it with so many different crowds. Watch it with so many different people. Some people who haven't seen it. some people who don't remember it that well, and the tension in these moments is very, very palpable. There's that great clip on YouTube. Part of Halloween, part of the thing with old movies back in the day, they could release them, like, let's say Halloween 1978, and maybe it wouldn't take off. Like, maybe, I said the two of four people who went to see it opening day, the movie theater was not packed, because that could happen. Like, maybe it just didn't, maybe it wasn't marketed the right way. Who knows? And very often they would re-release movies because the movie would gain popularity. Like, who knows? So in 1981, they re-released Halloween. That's also when Halloween 2 came out, so they're probably trying to have that push. And it exploded in popularity. So the movie was popular in 1978, but the 1981 re-release, it just went mad with popularity. And there's a great audio recording on YouTube that is apparently an authentic... Did I just say that word again? Damn it. There's apparently a real recording from 1981 of a packed movie theater, and it's the scene when Michael sits up in the background, and you can just hear people screaming for their lives, like they're terrified. It's so good. And even this, like you just have to imagine like the shrieking in the theater. It's really a fantastic economy of storytelling, because this is a damn near repeated shot from the beginning when young Mike was walking up the stairs. Again, I've tried to avoid going in depth about the sequels during this commentary, but I am going to do a little addendum after the fact, and that'll be available wherever you get your podcasts, talking about what I think of each sequel, how the performances, the recurring performances, how they changed, new characters that came in, all that. But yeah, here he goes. One could presume that he is content with his work. He did it all. Like, he even stashed those other bodies out of the way because he didn't need them. Okay, he didn't light candles. That candle was lit. My mistake. He's got the headstone there. That's good. The headstone's being immortalized by Andy there, or, whatever he's trying to do. And he's just got these others stashed. They're not intended to be part of this show. So this other person comes over and he's like, okay, great. Well, now there's someone else that I have to take care of. This is actually my second favorite shot. Or that one of him on the phone, and then this one, they're like tied as my favorite shot, I should say. 1A, 1B is, they had that little dimmer light and they just brought it up in the background so you can see his face slowly come in all the way to the right. Oh, it's freaky. There he is. And it's just a dimmer. It's just a dimmer light. Nothing fancy. What's funny is that Mike is a pretty effective killer, but he cannot trap Lori. Tries to stab several times, misses. I mean, that was a scrape. So scared. I think that was Nick's favorite shot. It's like when falling down the stairs, then him at the top of the stairs like that. I certainly have not talked about the music enough. I could keep talking about it forever, but here's, a different variation done it, so it's not exactly the theme, but scarier than shit every time. That was cornstarch that Annie was using to try to get out the butter that she spilled on her shirt. I've listened to a lot of commentaries and stuff, and people are like, what the hell is she doing? She spilled butter when she was talking to Lori. But that was about 45 minutes ago, so no need to mention that now. Got to break that glass. You just got to do it. I don't know the first movie that did the back and forth thing. The young girl is running away from the killer and, trying to get into the house and the door won't open. And, whether you got to find the keys and the keys fall on the ground, you got to do that. Or you got to let sleeping Tommy Doyle, wake him up to let you in. I don't know the first time a movie did that, but it still works so well here. It's the perfect amount of cut back and forth. It's not too much. The distance, like the scale of it, is perfect. And yeah, you got to imagine no one's going to open this for her, right? I mean, maybe in the 70s, but they're probably like, oh, these damn kids. Damn kids. Why do they do it? Yeah, they're like, I'm not dealing with this noise tonight. I don't want that smoke. wise. I really wish they would have put a pin in that boyfriend, the sister's boyfriend. What happened to that guy? Do you think they thought he did it? No, no, no. What am I saying? They saw Mike. I mean, do they think he was involved in some way, though? Like, hey, did you try to talk that kid into it? Yeah, just the perfect amount of scale, like not breaking stride. The walk is perfect. Nick Castle. I don't think anyone else ever got the walk as right as well as he did, as good as he did. Poor Tommy. I don't know if Tommy could go faster. Like he's delirious. He's been up on candy. He's sugar crashed. So he's like, man, all right, fine. What is this about? Whatever. Was that window open? I know there's a screen on it, but that'd be a cold bedroom for an Illinois fall, let me tell you. Yeah, take your time, bud. Take your time. I'd be scared too. Yeah, it's a boogeyman. Another thing Laurie Strode has been criticized about in this film is inflicting some damage but not following through with it. So not, finishing the kill, throwing the knife away twice. And again, she does that because she's not a killer. Like, I get that. She doesn't even know what the hell's going on. Who is this guy? It could be anybody. It could be your dad, who is not a cartoon. It could be anybody. Here he goes, miss number 2. He just grazed her. We can see there he grazed her shoulder a little bit, but boom. I mean, he could have gone for her head. Oh, this is a fantastic fall. This is great. He just falls right back and then boom. Oh, what a great fall. I love he just eats it. A few steps back. What the hell? And yeah, she tosses the knife. Oh, that's a great shot. Iconic. Right there. That's all you got to do. Right over the couch. Put the camera right there. She got him good. Look how deep, how much blood is on that knitting needle thing. I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious by now that Michael Myers can't die. She doesn't know that, but that would take any normal man down. This isn't a man. She's funny. Jamie Lee Curtis is funny in the commentaries because she is not afraid to call a movie out, even a movie she's in, and she's like, they really should have gone for the close-up there so they could see the anguish in my face and the fear in my face for holding this knife. I'm not a killer. Laurie Strode isn't a killer. They would have had a close-up there. It would have paid off more. I'm like, it's like 30 years ago when she recorded this commentary. She's great. I found the car. Love that. Another favorite line delivery. Now the sheriff's like, all right, fine. All right. How many child psychiatrists walk around with a gun, a loaded gun, in their pocket, a 6-shooter? This one does, because he knows. He watched him for 15 years. Walking around. He didn't, I have the stat somewhere. It was like 5 or 6 days Pleasance was on this shoot. That's it. They shot him out in 5 or 6 days. You can't tell. It's not like, it doesn't feel like a rush job, anything like that. Very committed. This is like his superpower just coming up in the background. Oh, she says she killed him. And this, I think, joining Mike's POV again, this, I think, speaks to his character a little bit. He doesn't go after the kids. They're easy to find. She puts them in a door not unlike the one she hides behind. I mean, he's not deaf. Lock the door. Stay in there. Like, he could easily go in that door too, but he doesn't. I don't think he's dumb either because he doesn't fall for that trick. She didn't jump out there. I'll never forget one of the reasons I ultimately decided on Halloween, just to get a little briefly personal really quick. This was my mom and I, one of our favorite movies together, this and probably Psycho, which was also in the competition to watch once a week. But that one, oh my God, I've seen Psycho so many times. So it's been a lot of fun to, every time I rewatch the movie, I think of my mom a little bit, who passed away a few years ago and who I miss dearly. And God, I mean, just this scene immediately makes me think of her and her telling me how scared she was in the theater. And it's just, also as a 90s kid, my favorite scary movie growing up was Scream, still one of my favorite movies of all time. And these sounds are Like they're so imprinted in my head because they're in Scream. They're watching it in Scream. It is not in real time, by the way. I have timed it to when Jamie Kennedy's watching it in that movie. With this, it's a little off, but that even her like squealing and everything you hear, I've heard it so many times. I've seen Scream a gazillion times as well. And that was another movie with my mom. So it's been fun to go down that track as well. I think of all the injuries Mike has sustained, this would hurt the most. More than the neck shot, more the eye, the coat hanger to the eye, perfect shot. That, I mean, it might even hurt more than this. This is like an uppercut blade to the chest. A great move. Boom. She even put her legs into it a little bit. That's a great hit. But again, Laurie Strode is not a killer. She's the kind of like animal in the wild that only defends themselves when necessary. She's not a predator. She's not Mike. So she tosses a knife away. I don't see it as, I see it as kind of, you go, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. But I think it fits with her character. So does she. She talks about it a lot. Yeah, coat hanger to the eye. That's got to be the worst thing. What about the people who live in these houses? Like, this is where Annie was babysitting. Like, what the hell do these people think? And then, what they're going to come back and be like, okay, so our kids are alive. You did that well, but like, who are all these dead people? What's going on? And you had sex in my bed? Yeah, this is the scene you can find on YouTube. And they're just must have been terrifying. I have seen the movie many, many times, and if you look close enough, his left knee is bent a little bit. I think that's how the actor is able to literally and physically sit up, because just if your legs were straight, that'd be tough. But wow, is it scary. And the music doesn't start when he sits up. The music starts when his head turns. It's those little details that make it, Let's look back there. What a fantastic shot. Oh my God, the silence of it. Yep. Boom. Bump. That's all Loomis needs. Now he's got the scent. The evil is in that house. Tommy's like, come on. Go down to the Mackenzie's house, which is exactly what the parents, the dad, Drew Barrymore's dad in Scream tells his wife. Go down to the Mackenzie house, when they can hear the daughter on the phone. Mom. Oh. Behind you, Jamie. Look behind you. And again, it's going to be another miss. That's 3 misses in a row. For Mike, not really. I mean, he grabs her and stuff, but he doesn't finish the job. Here's another person playing Mike. This is an actor, Tony Moran. Fun fact about him is that his sister in real life played Joni in Happy Days. Joni loves Chachi. And you can see his eyes all jacked up from that coat hanger hit. That was a tough hit. Captain Kirk. 6 shots. If you watch Halloween 2, when they recreate this intro, it's 7 shots. Why? Who knows? 6 shots in that gun. Donald Pleasance told John Carpenter, when I look and he's not there, I can give you one of 2 things. I'll give you one of 2 things. So for one take, he gave him, oh, God, I can't believe this happened. Oh, man, here he's gone. And the second take was, oh, my God, I knew this was going to happen. Holy shit, this is bad. And they went with that one. Shows how well he understands the material. What a great line. It was the boogeyman, as a matter of fact. It was. Great countenance here from Donald Pleasance. Great look on his face. Oh, and the music. And then she doesn't even need to see it. She knows that he's gone. She just starts crying. Oh, it's perfect. The back and forth, getting each other. And then we're just going to get these exteriors of places we have already been, where we have seen horror unfold, where Michael's breaths will get louder and louder. When they made this movie, they didn't know they were going to make a sequel. They would not have known about the massive success of this film. And here, and what it would do and how it would spawn a franchise that is still going. The last active movie of this franchise was 2022. There's no way they're going to end. I don't know what they're going to do next, but this is property that can go forever down any rabbit hole, whether they start anew, whether Laurie Strode is still connected somehow. Here's our final shot with Michael Myers breathing at the top, haunting us forever. 53 viewings in 1 year. Wow. Nah, never bored. Never. The real question is, when will I watch it again? See, I'm going to have to watch it again to edit the commentary. But then when will I, on my own, not involved with the podcast, not involved with anything, when will I sit down and rewatch it? I don't know. That will be the real test. David Kyle. Yeah, see there, Laurie's father. There he is. David Kyle got away clean, didn't he? Lucky bastard. This movie, part of why I could tolerate it all years because of how well made it is. It made me get into all of the sequels, which again I will talk about in the second part of this episode. And I didn't have the best opinion of every sequel. I still don't. Some of them aren't very good movies, but I appreciate them all of them for what they are. There's Barry Bernardi. I appreciate them all for what they are and what they represent to the franchise. Again, not all of them are good. I'm excited to kind of talk about those and break them down, but obviously Halloween 2 is a really fun double feature because the first 5 minutes of that are the last 5 minutes of this film. Although not as effective as Halloween, I think most people would agree, but God, this is what a journey. I don't really have a challenge. I don't have a similar challenge for 2026. I do not have a plan to watch one movie a week. So plan on investigating some criterions. Maybe that'll be the challenge. One new to me criterion a week. But I've never done anything like this, watched a movie this many times in this, condensed of a time period. With the commentary over, please be sure to check out this podcast on other platforms, Apple, Spotify, to hear part 2 of this episode. Thanks for listening and happy watching.